Hey, Nisha Plays.
I'm Candy.
And I'm Ty, aka Ty Juicy.
And yeah, so honestly, we could just get right into it. We came together at a very interesting time. Like, our friendship formed all through a tweet. Our friend Eunice, who is also here, she's gonna try and make it here too, but like, she literally put out a tweet and said, "Are there any Black women who love Black Clover?" And I think everybody here said yes. And she's like, she put us in a group chat on Twitter first. And then it eventually grew to us like evolving into a group chat on our phones. And we've been, has it been 3, going on 4 years?
Going on 4 years.
Yeah, and it's wild because it's just like, I never would have thought I would make, like, I've always wanted more Black women who watch anime and anime fans and stuff that I'm into, friendships. Because the ones that I do have friends with, I love them, but like, they look at me weird when I talk about anime. And it's a little frustrating because I'm like, I just want a friend who want to go watch new JJK movie or something. I don't want to be alone. But like, with them, I don't feel alone.
True. Yeah, it's a very special friendship. Like, we ended up meeting people who were like super close to us. Like, I remember when I joined the group, because honestly, I don't watch Black Clover, so I was like, I saw the tweet and I was like, And then another friend was like, hey, there's this group of Black women, you know, they like anime, they're all really cool, I think you should join. And so she puts me in a group, and it's this group, so I said, okay, I guess I'm gonna be here. And I ended up finding people, literally, I found someone who lived around the corner from me, which is so crazy. It's like, hey girl, where you live? Baltimore? Oh, me too, what part of Baltimore? This side, oh, which street? 2 minutes away. And so like, we ended up becoming people who just like were able to watch anime with each other every week. Like, hey girl, when we get off work, you want to watch the new Jking episode? You know, like, and it's just so nice to be able to bond with somebody like that. So this was definitely like really special.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And for me, I think it was just like at the spur of the moment, because I remember I was like saying the same thing. I was like, I really want more friends to watch anime with, like deeper than just Dragon Ball Z. So I remember going on Twitter and be like, okay, anime Black girls, you know, because I feel like not all spaces are very inviting. And I saw the tweet, I liked it, and I was so nervous getting it, but everybody was super nice, super inviting, and we bonded. Like, I remember we used to talk, and it was like, oh, I was in the chat. So a few minutes of conversation here out. Like, come back the next business days to catch up, but they're so funny, and we all come from like different backgrounds. Everybody has like a specialty. We have friends who make pins and have shops, so it's really nice supporting, you know, our friends. So it's like something I really recommend everybody to get into, like a place that you can feel safe and open and just be vulnerable.
Yeah, and then going off of that real quick, just to touch on, when I say we met at an interesting time, it was literally the kickoff of the pandemic. Literally. So it was like at a time where I feel like I had just moved out of my parents' home and I was by myself. I felt so isolated from everybody. I couldn't see my friends regularly. It felt like, you know, it's a very anxious time. And when I joined the group, it's like, just do a FaceTime with them for like hours. I didn't feel lonely anymore. So it was like literally like, y'all was saving me from like my depression, low key.
Was pretty crazy.
It was.
Yeah.
I remember literally like 20-something people, everybody had bonnets on, you couldn't hear nothing.
People talking to each other while other people talking to each other.
All the screaming and hollering and chaos, we were like, this is fun, we should do it again.
Yes.
And we started doing it again.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's really hard to maintain a group. You know how a group message when they first start, first week, every day, everybody talking, yeah, and then in a couple of days it dies off. No, we've been able to maintain it for over 3 years, so that's really special.
Hasn't been a quiet day since.
No.
And if it gets a little quiet, we make it loud again.
Yeah.
Hey, take this quiz real quick.
Thing, like, she has, I don't know, but she always comes up with these apps that we can get in and talk about and just do different things. Like, one of our favorite ones was the photo roulette.
I don't know if y'all
roulette.
ever played that, but it's very messy.
It's
very messy.
So basically the game is you download an app and it goes into your camera roll and then you try to guess whose phone it is. So yeah, so if you have some, yeah.
Mm-hmm. You can filter out which pictures. Filter it out before. Don't be like me. Maybe you do.
Yeah, so that was so funny. And I remember we got so good at the game that instantly from a meme, you knew who it was.
Yeah, you could go off vibes and be like, oh, that's Candy's meme. Oh, that's just
anything BTS they knew.
Yeah, you see the blue contacts.
So it was so much fun. Then we tried to switch it up, and I used to go and then download photos of them. Yeah, that's my fun. I was like, no, it ain't. Gotcha. Yeah.
So let's just talk about like how, I mean, I know we talked about Black Clover being one of the, I guess the catalyst that brought us together because of the tweet, but like, I know like all of us have different taste in anime. Like specifically, what anime do y'all feel like has helped us like connect as friends?
JJK for sure. Attack on Titan.
One Piece.
There's so many times where like you would think we need a Discord server at this point because we have our group message, and then there's some people who like things more than other people. So we're like, we're gonna make this little subgroup real quick. Watch this episode together. We want to talk about this chapter together, and those moments were special. Like we even have stuff for like not anime at this point.
Yeah.
We have a whole horror movie group chat. Workout.
Yes,
chat.
the training arc.
The training
Yeah.
Literally any type of group we have.
Different variations of the same.
Yeah.
But JJK for sure, that one was really special.
Haikyuu. But our Haikyuu era, y'all cannot. And the best part about the Haikyuu, because I'm a diehard Haikyuu fan, and then I was like, Ty, please come on, like watch it.
I don't like sports anime, but I don't care about people getting involved. But that one,
it changed.
We told you.
Changed lives.
Yes.
And it was like peak pandemic when we were watching, and it would be so funny because like I would go out in the front porch and Ty sent me like a Haikyuu colored book. Yeah, and then she'll go in and I send her some stickers. So we just start like mailing each other stuff, and that's another thing too. Like especially right at the beginning of the pandemic, I started breaking out a lot because of the mask, and I was like really self-conscious about myself. And Justina, my big sis, she sent me a whole skincare care package. I'm talking about the high-end things I'd never used before, and we really help each other out with every little thing. There's nothing, no problem too big or too small that we can't come to the group and talk about. Oh, I got off Attack on Titans.
It's okay. It's okay.
Attack on Titans. No, we had a subgroup where you know how the manga was being released like once a month. We there break it down to like the T. Like you take a little paint over it. And it's crazy because you always get a different perspective when you're talking to somebody else about it, or they give you a different spin in it. I remember we used to go days and days talking about like, oh my god, like what's gonna happen? Like, oh, Aaron did nothing wrong.
This is not that panel. I'm just gonna say that this is not the panel for that, Candida.
Aaron did nothing wrong. But
That's fine. That's fine. I would say for me, it was definitely One Piece that brought me together with like a lot of different people. Candy right here, because like I have tried to get into One Piece like twice beforehand, and then like I told them like I think I'm gonna try it one more time because I ain't got nothing else to watch during this pandemic. And then Candy was just like, you just gotta
don't tell me you about to start because I was on her
every day. One Piece evangelist is One Piece Jehovah's Witness. Honestly, she would just be like, okay, where you at now? I'm like, I'm in Skypiea and it's rough. She's like, just keep going. I'm like, I'm bored. But no, I value it a lot. Like this, like she's like my Luffy. Honestly, she really is like my Luffy. Like it's just her smile, her energy. She just brought me into it. Now I'm just like I got a One Piece tattoo, y'all. Like, and I finished it in a year, and I'm caught up thanks to you.
And I remember the moments, like I love One Piece so much, and she will tell me, oh, I'm in Impel Down, and I start crying already. I already know what's about to happen, and she'll call me crying, and I'm crying again.
Yes.
Like, it doesn't matter, like I could be like in the middle of like the happiest time, you would text me a picture of Ace, and I'll start crying.
Yeah, I feel like that part after Luffy when he's like, I still have my friends. I was like, I'm not okay. I'm really not okay.
I think that's the most exciting part about like being able to share anime with you guys is waiting on the reactions. Like,
yes.
Did you read that chapter yet? And then like they'll send you the most like obscure messages like I hate everything in my life. It's like, oh, you read it, huh? Like getting to sit down and like break it down with them is just so fun because again you get those perspectives. And honestly, I know for me and Justina personally, we be having a laugh. Anytime a JJK chapter drop, we are in the messages cackling. And it's not even because something funny happened, because y'all know JJK ain't funny. But we gonna make it funny. And it's like, there's only certain people you can do that with. And like, it's them for sure.
Boogie Woogies.
Boogie Woogies. No, the Yuji was watching movies in the basement and his friends were fighting for their life. He watching Taken and his friends are getting beat up. Guns to their head. Like, there's only certain people you can do that with. And like, for me, it's definitely that.
Yeah.
So much fun.
So then just like, let's talk about like the different ways we connect. Cause I know y'all talk about photo roulette, but like somebody on this panel does above and beyond on ways we can connect and be a community. So, Ty.
Okay, so I be getting bored. That's a lot of the reason why I do stuff. I just be bored. And so, holidays come around and we're obviously like all in different places. And I was like, let's do a little award show. Like, let's just vibe. And so I made like a Google form and I would just put like different superlatives, like who's the most likely to be president, who's most likely to, tweet about winning this award, just things like that. And they would all vote. And then around Christmas time, maybe like Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, we'd just share the results in the group message, and I would make little, certificates and stuff. We should have put that on the thing.
No, the words are way beyond like who. No, she got like very personal. Like who's the most likely to like just keep smiling, never stop smiling, things like that. And
the Sunshine Award.
Yeah, like the Sunshine Award.
Become nicer.
Who'll become nicer?
Transform the most. We call them our own personal butterfly.
Who has the worst Wi-Fi?
Yeah. No, who always be making noise in the background with chips.
Who can't read the room? Because there be times we're like, oh, I'm so sorry, like something down, and I'm like, hey, like y'all see this new chapter? And like, please read the room.
There was one time somebody was going through it real bad, like Clover was bad. Yeah. Candy is like, so this is Attack on Titan chapter. Candy.
It's like, oh my bad.
Read the room a little bit. Open the book. Just a little bit. But it's funny because like even when we have those moments where like we step on each other's toes a little bit or we're a little bit awkward, it's nothing we can't bounce back from.
Exactly.
We could be like arguing. And it was like, girl, that was kind of funny though. You made me up a little bit.
Yeah.
No, I agree. And that's actually a perfect segue to talk about like challenges of having a long distance friendships, but also challenges of like having a big girl friendship. I mean, I think it's not just specific to women, but like I think everybody can understand having challenges when there's like a lot of different personalities in a group, and then things can get misread, but like we can kind of like dig into that a little bit.
Yeah.
Because like you said, everybody lives in different places, everybody has different personalities. And I'm not going to hold you, we have some big personalities in this friend group, myself included. So sometimes you think it's not going to work out well, but I think the beauty of like opening yourself up to getting to know these people is that you're a bit more vulnerable and you're a bit more gentle with them. It's like, okay, I can't carry you how I would carry a regular on Twitter, like, so I'm not about to sit here and cuss you out. So even if we do something that really just isn't our favorite thing, we easily can pull each other to the side and be like, I didn't like that a little bit. And like, even the way we talk to each other, like, we're so gentle. Honestly, it's sometimes kind of scary. Because you would think we're dating. Like, not gonna lie, it's a little homoerotic, but that's just how much we love each other. Like, they are Pookie, Snookum, Sunshine. You will never catch me calling anybody else that. Like, everybody's, hey, how you doing? With them, my Sunshine, my Snookum. So, like, you learn to be gentler with people and you make better choices when it comes to, how you carry your friends. Because, like, if you want to have friends, you have to be the kind of friend that you would want in your life. So it makes you think different, for sure.
Yeah, and it's so nice to also have like, sometimes it's really hard to speak up and when you're going through something, but they know you, the way you sent the first message, they know something is up and they will call. Even if they're not going to put it in the group message, you will get the private message from each and every one trying to check in if you're okay. Whenever you're ready to talk, we can talk. Like, they know exactly how, like, they can see it through the message. It can just be like, hi, oh, she put a period at the end, she's going through it, let's call her, or let's send a whole bunch of flowers to her house. They are so crazy with that. Like,
one thing about us, we're gonna send something.
We're gonna send something. They make any birthday, graduation, like I said, we met during the pandemic and that was my graduation. I graduated YouTube graduate. So it was really tough for me because I had to go home, and that's like after all I did, I have to sit at home and watch my graduation. I was feeling so down. Like, I was like, I hate this. Like, after all the work I put in, I feel like it did nothing. I'm just gonna watch the little slideshow. So they surprised me and they were flooding those YouTube comments. Like, people were like, what are the Clovers? Like, who is this Clover? Yeah, because it flooded the comments. They were also supportive, calling me, sending me gifts. Like, I was crying all day just out of like so much love from people I just met. You know what I mean? So it's so nice knowing that no matter what, I have a group of friends I can always call. Is it to talk about an anime, talk about how I'm feeling, and they just know. Like, they no, like this morning, I came in and I was already crying. I was like, oh, thank you so much for y'all coming. Like, they know I cry a lot, and she is always laughing at me crying because I get very emotional. And Justina wasn't in the room, and then she's like, Katie was crying. Is it because we're about to leave and she's so grateful to have all of us? Like, she knows me to the T. And I was like, yeah. So it's really nice to be able to like meet up with us, and because we like talk to each other a lot. And I saw this one tweet, and it was like, it's crazy how we know each other's deepest secrets, but I don't know what your legs look like. Because all we do is talk on FaceTime. But yeah, it's so much fun.
Yeah, and I guess for me, like this group has really helped me get out of my shell because I played sports. Like a lot of my female friendships all came from playing basketball. Like I played through college and all that. And like honestly, having teammates versus actual friends hits different because it's a lot of dynamics. It's a lot of egos involved, and it's like this group has really helped me to like, because playing on a team with a bunch of women, like you get competitive with each other. You're always like pushing one another to be better. But then it's also like there's always this tension or like cliques form very quickly. I don't feel that way with this group. Like I'm one of the more quiet Clovers, which honestly me having the idea to do this panel and get on this stage and talk to y'all is wild. But I wanted to do it because of how much I appreciate them and how much they've helped me grow in the last few years and how much they mean to me, because like I think I used to be real quiet because I would be overwhelmed and I'm like, damn, everybody talking right now. I'm not gonna be saying anything. The subject's already changed. I can't catch up in the message. But then one day, Justina, right there, she reached out and she's like, Nisha, do you like us? do you want to be in this group chat still? And I'm just like, no, I do. She's like, well, you just gotta speak up a little bit more. It's okay, we like you too. And I was just like, I know, and it's weird. I'm like, I wasn't afraid or nothing. It was just like, I always was used to shrinking myself and not talking up much, or I felt like people wasn't interested in what I was interested in. But then it's like, then I found my people, and it's been easier to speak up more and be louder and take up space. And like, I really appreciate you because you helped me get there. So I appreciate you. But like, and then also talking about like the things we do for each other. It's like, I graduated my MBA this year, and one of the Clovers, Christina, my bestie, she couldn't be here today, but she flew out and she was the loudest person in the crowd. And then I saw all the comments because she gave y'all the live stream and y'all was watching it just going up in the group chat. And it's just like, it's the little stuff like that. So I feel like it's really like, it can be the biggest scale of like somebody coming to visit somebody, maybe around the corner, maybe in another state, maybe, you know, another country. Yeah, we are international. We do have somebody in the UK, I think.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Abby.
Abby's in the UK, and I got to meet her, I think, last summer, which is crazy. Like, for Abby, it was really hard for her because of the time difference. Like, she would come in, it's already night, so all she did was just catch up. When I met her, she was the sweetest little cookie. Like, and it's so crazy. Can you imagine meeting somebody from a different state is already kind of meeting somebody from a different country. Mm-hmm. But the same thing, when we met, it was like a reunion. Like, oh, like I've known you all my life. Like, she is the sweetest girl, also very One Piece down, so of course. Yeah. Yep. And it's just really nice being able to fly out, meet people, do things together. Because it's always kind of scary when you meet somebody online. It's like, oh, are they going to be who they are? Or are they going to be a little different? But they are exactly who they are. Like, this is the person I talk to, you know, every day. So it's really nice knowing that, oh, like, they're true. You know, it's not no catfish. Mm-hmm. Like, this is real people.
No, I agree. And I think like a part of that, like just to touch on, is like we're very vulnerable with each other. And when we communicate, like we're very honest. Like kind of like what touching on what Ty said, is like, if we have a conflict, we shouldn't be afraid to approach one another and talk about that. And I think a lot of that has come, like I've learned to do that instead of like being quiet if something bothers me, just talk about it. Don't push it down. But I think that's been something that's been really huge. And just knowing that I can be vulnerable with y'all and I communicate with y'all helps a lot.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like when it comes to friendships, people have this thing about wanting to keep the peace and not wanting to seem like they're like aggressive or like, you know, like they like to pick fights a lot. But real friendship requires like actual vulnerability. Like you can't just like walk on eggshells around people and expect to be the closest of friends, because like if you can't trust them, then you can't really be friends. Mm-hmm. So we do a lot of being vulnerable with each other, and I think that's like really important. I'm glad I can do that with you guys.
Likewise. So then like just get into creating our own space. I know we've told y'all like, yeah, it all started from a tweet to a group chat to FaceTime. And I think the biggest thing about that is just like, for me, I will say is I had to be open with like just putting myself out there to find like to do that and to engage with y'all. I feel like that was a huge thing. What would y'all say is like a step you had to take in order to like form the space we have?
I would say like a big part of it is making that active choice to show up. Like, yeah, you can be in a group message with the notifications muted, so it's like you're there, but you're not really there. But you gotta like actively make the choice to show up. Like, you know, like she said, even with Abby, who's like literally across the ocean, she would just come in when she can, like just doing what you can when you can. Like, people remember that. Like, there will be times where we bring up someone who hasn't talked in months, just because like we remember when they did show up. And you know, like, it's never bad blood. We're never gonna be like, oh, you didn't check in today, you're out of the group. Like,
no.
It's never been that serious. It's like we're all very understanding. Like, we all have our own things going on. Life is life right now. Like, we were literally in the middle of a pandemic. We were all just very understanding. And so even just making that active choice to show up when we could, I think that was like really important to, you know, maintaining the friendship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think Ty really made it easy, because even with having so many people, there'd be times where, you know, we kind of ran out of things to really talk about, like lifing, and you know, we're just kind of like, and then we'll come in with a different app. There's another one where we had, and it was like a cappuccino.
Oh yeah, the cappuccino app.
Yeah, and that one, it was like a little podcast. So even if you don't have time to check in, you can leave like a little voice note, and then the next day it will play like everybody's voice, you know, like as a little podcast, so you can hear about everybody's day, what they did, you know, and you can listen to it while you're on the way to work. And it's so much fun, like especially when Ty was abroad, I was traveling, I was like, oh, today I went to like Portugal, I did this, and it was so much fun. I'll send you pictures later in the group, you know, and it plays it all as a little podcast. So it's really nice to hear, you know, our voices and see what they're doing, and you know, even without having to physically like call them and text them. So that was really nice.
And I think our other favorite way recently of being able to check in with each other is definitely earbuds.
Earbuds.
That's the joint right there. So I don't know if you guys have earbuds, but like you connect it to like your Apple Music or your Spotify, and it gives you stats for the week. Like, it'll tell you what's your favorite song, how many times you've listened to said song, your favorite genre, your favorite artist. And every Sunday, I think, it'll give you a weekly recap. And so we'll just screenshot our recaps and be like, hey, what it sounded like for the week, y'all. It's like, oh, I seen you were listening to this. Because it has a widget that you can put on your homepage, and it'll show you your like specific friend and what song they're listening to. And so we use that to check in with each other. I remember Jess was listening to Chasing Cars by Snow Patrol. And if y'all know anything about that song, you know you hear that song when somebody's dying in Grey's Anatomy. I just had to text her on the side and be like, bro, are you good? Are you okay? But we use that to check in with each other, and it's very fun. Like, even if it's like verbal, non-verbal, like we still find ways to reach out.
Yeah, the thing I really like about earbuds too, you can leave a reaction to like every song you listen to. I remember 2 weeks ago when Still With You came out on platform, I listened to the song, I think it was 270 times that week. So,
and we were like, are you good? Are you doing too much?
It's never too much for BTS.
No, I agree. And I would just say, like, for me personally, like with helping to create the space, like vulnerability, being soft with y'all, that's been a challenge. I've been working on being more soft. I think Candy has rubbed up on me in that way. But no, I think, cause I work from home. A big thing right now is like when me and my other friend, our other friend Christina, we will just call each other on FaceTime, and we will act like we are in a cubicle together and just working like 3 hours straight, just working. We just right there. And I think like it's the little things. And I know like other people sometimes hop on the FaceTime and be like, what y'all doing? Working? Okay, cool. And it's just, doing FaceTimes with y'all got me through grad school. I just want y'all to know that. Cause
the body doubling, it helped us so much.
Yes,
I wouldn't have got to Austin without it. Because I was not packed in the slightest. But I would call them and I'd be like, hey, this is what I got so far. It's still looking a little empty. But just having them there, like having them like present over the phone was enough to give me energy to like do what I needed to do.
Which I think is a really important part of like long distance friendships, because I think some people think you have to be in person to have the kind of bond that we have,
or it won't be real.
Yeah, and I don't think of these friendships I have with them any less than any friendships I have back home with people I grew up with. And I think that's the thing that I've really learned is like I always thought to like have a best friend they got to live in my city. Like even right now, I'm trying to convince all y'all to move to Chicago, but hey. But no, it's like it's really powerful to have friends like that. I mean, like the fact that you was in South Korea for a year. Like I feel like what challenges do you think like you had like from being in Baltimore and then going to South Korea, because you were then the furthest Clover.
Yep. Okay, so to run that story from the top, because
Yeah.
you know off with that. So, I moved to South Korea to teach English for a year and a half, and I just got back Sunday. But before I left, they made sure I had nothing to worry about. They know music is like my love language. Like, I'm always tuned in. And so they made a whole playlist of songs that are like associated with us and that remind them of me. And then what else did they do?
We sent you a cake.
They made me a 4-minute video of them just giving me well wishes. We should have put that up. We weren't thinking.
I'm sorry. Listen, I was stressed trying to make sure I got the loop right and no duplicates. Sorry if there's a duplicate, y'all ignore that.
Yeah, they gave me a berry chantilly cake from Whole Foods, because you know that cake is so good. They got me flowers, and then they also popped up at my house the day before I left and saw me off to the airport. They were literally the last people to see me in America. And I was just like, I was surprised because I didn't know anything about it. But actually, y'all did kind of mess it up by putting me in the group chat too early. I was still surprised because I didn't know like the extent to which they were doing things. And it didn't even stop there. Literally, got to the airport, I made it to Atlanta, my phone is dinging, Cash App going off. They gave me enough money so that I didn't have to worry for the first month, because I don't get paid until the end of the month. They made sure I didn't have to worry about anything. And I'm like, I've never experienced that. Like, that's kind of lit. Y'all did that one day.
I mean, even it was even leading up to this con, because I think it was actually both of y'all, because you was like, y'all, I just need someone to cash out me $5 so I can get this ticket, because everybody was cued in, and we kept on reminding each other like, DreamCon tickets today. DreamCon tickets are today.
Setup tickets.
Yes.
You know how they sell out like
right.
that.
And I just remember that I got in queue because I was buying one ticket, and I remember Candy, where are you at in queue? She's
and like, I'm trying. Just get my ticket, please. Like, I need to make it. I can't make it.
And it's just like the simple things like that.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like, yeah, we got each other's back.
Yeah, no problem is too big, no problem is too small. And also we made you the little, I don't know if y'all seen those infinity frames on TikTok that just kind of plays like a video.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, it's like the video is nice, but we wanted her to have something physical to remind. So it was really just us just talking to her on loop for days.
That's my favorite. I don't shut up, and so it's nice when my friends don't shut up, especially when they say nice things about me. Like, I'm gonna make that up. So it was really nice to have.
Yeah. So then getting into about like creating our space, but like specifically, how do we think people like here today, if y'all were interested in like kind of forming your own friends or just not being afraid to reach out to people, like, hey, maybe today you can find y'all Clovers in this room. Look to your neighbor to the left, look to your neighbor to the right. Say neighbor. But no, I think what would y'all say is like, if you could give one key piece of advice, what would you give?
I don't remember which one of you said it, but the way you said like treating your friends no different than how you would friends from like your hometown. You can't just like think of people like that you meet today or even people that you see online as just people online or someone you met. Like, these are potential people you could connect with, so you gotta look at them as real people and not just be like, oh, that's just somebody. Like, yeah, they're somebody, but they could be somebody special. So just being open enough to like making new friends is already a big important part of that.
Yeah, I feel like meeting people online is so crazy, but it happens to me so much. I even met my fiance online on Twitter same year as my Clover. So it's really crazy. We ended up being from both in Houston and both from the same hometown in Angola. And I was like, oh my God, like this is a little too crazy. At first I had to test him to see where we at by asking him who was his favorite Naruto character, so I know if it was gonna be Sasuke, we wasn't gonna make it. But it ended up being Obito, so I was like, okay, you cool. So yeah, so now same thing, like we met online, and it's like not being afraid to actually talk and take people like seriously, you know, because sometimes it's really hard for you to reach out to somebody you see and want to be friends with, you know, because people are always open for new friendships, so don't feel like, oh, like they already have a group, like I can't be with them,
I feel like people get caught up in that a lot. They see a group of friends, and it's, I don't want to say they get intimidated, but they kind of just like push themselves away, like, oh, clearly I have no space here, and like you don't have to think about it like that. Like there's no limit on the friends you can have. Like even today, like Shirley's not like in our group message, but like this is my cousin. Like
for real.
You're not gonna tell me it's not.
Yeah.
Like you just gotta be open to it. Like there's no limit on the connections you can make.
No, I agree. And I think, like I said, I've said this whole time, I think don't be afraid to get out your shell. Don't be afraid to like meet somebody new. I think I've met so many people here that I already followed on Instagram and on Twitter. And it's just like, we've been mutuals for years, but it's like it's getting to see people in person and talk to them in person. It's just like, it feels like you know them. Like it feels like you really can connect with them. And not that over weird, like that weird over familiarity that some people do.
Like calling you by your username. Like,
it's
nothing like that. It's like, hey friend, like you've known them forever. Like Kiki, this is my first time meeting her this weekend, but like we talked so much. It was like, hey girl, like nobody was nervous, nobody was scared. Like it was just good vibes. And
just this is the first time all of us met her.
At the door, knocked over her suitcase. Like, she was the woman.
Every time there was a knock at the door.
Is that Jess?
Oh, I'm not the delivery guy.
Yeah, and even for us, imagine we've been friends for over 3 years, and we still have people who haven't met. Yeah. So like for me, it was a lot of first time meeting Key, Jez, even Shirley, like a lot, Nisha, like. But we talk, like we've been crying on the phone watching One Piece. Like these people know everything about me, but I don't know. I have never seen you in real life. You know what I mean? So even if you can't see them soon, don't worry about that. Like the time will come when we will connect and we'll be able to have our own little fun time and gathering. And I was really nervous coming in the trip. I was like, dang, like what?
I'm sorry, it's fun to say, it's really funny. You said you haven't seen them in a while and you were watching One Piece, and you know when they separated?
Oh my God, we had a time skip.
Yeah, we
had a time skip.
Because we went from like me being in, because y'all don't understand, I used to get bullied. They're like, here she comes talking about this One Piece. Nobody don't watch that shit. Get out. Like, and I was like, please y'all, if you just listen, just watch it. You know what? And then Nisha was like, hey, I'm thinking about, you thinking about One Piece? Come on, let me pull you to the side. And we did it, and it's like, you know,
I drank the Kool-Aid.
She drank the Kool-Aid.
I did.
She never looked back, like, because I was just like, if you just give it one chance, and when I talk about One Piece, y'all, I talk with so much enthusiasm. You're just like, all right, let me see what she's on, you know? So, and if you like it, you like it. And even Justina, like, watching it, she was like, okay, that's a little too much, but she started reading it. And she loves Sanji, like, that's her character, you know? So even if watching is not your way, like, you can read it too. There's different ways that you can also, like, you know, get to it. Like, she also used to like Food Wars a lot, and they had a crossover. Yeah, so she was like, oh my gosh, look, our worlds are colliding.
Which is, you know what? That's funny because now Christina watches One Piece because I kept bugging her to watch it, and I'm like, what else you got to do?
Exactly.
You gonna keep living. You gonna keep One Piece is gonna keep watching. Like, get to it.
Just get to it. Like, it's nothing to do it. And y'all, like, y'all don't understand. I've watched One Piece twice. Thank you. And it's like this.
Hey, love it. Love it.
Read it twice, and every time it's just something different.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's my girl. But 4 times. Yeah, we can keep it going.
We could have turned this into a One Piece panel. We have.
There's no trying to get into it already.
Yeah, but anytime you rewatch an anime, you guys know you always catch something different. You always see a different perspective. You know, it's like, oh, I didn't notice that. Like even like Demon Slayer, reading it the second time, watching it the second time, like, oh, so that's what that was, you know, and things like that.
Now,
oh yeah,
go ahead.
Oh, have you guys ever seen the show Sisters off of BET?
Yes, I watch my little sister actually.
How do you guys feel about it, like the relationship with the girl?
I think it's interesting. I'm still new to Sisters, so I'll be transparent. I literally started watching it like last month with her, so I'm still new. I'm like maybe 4 episodes in. I like it though.
Good. It gets good. It is juicy. Like
Okay. She's told me about the bank robbery and all this other stuff. I'm just like, a bank robbery? I don't look. And now that's all a scandal. And then there's.
We'll put it on YouTube. And we also do watch, speaking of that, we watch things
Insecure.
outside of anime.
We do a lot. Like honestly, it's transcended like
a lot.
Different types of media. Because like I said, with music is my thing, and me and Candy, we're both really big K-pop fans.
Yes, they are.
There are people who did not want to hear none of that.
None of that.
It's crazy. I'm sorry, Justina. I'm with a little bit. She was not for it, but you know, because she loves me, she thinks the world of me. She was like, I'm gonna listen to this song, and now she's like, you know what? They kind of say.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's a true friendship right there.
Exactly. I love. And it's sometimes where like she'll send me something that she specifically likes, and like it may not be right up my alley, but I'll listen to it because I love her, and I develop a love for it. And like that's just what you do when you love people. Like you learn to love what they love, not even on some fake like, oh yeah, I totally listened to that song that you sent me. Like, it's never like that. Like we actually like digest the things that we say to each other. Like, oh, this part right here was so good. It's like you can tell they were actually being attentive, and that for me is really important. Like as a friend, I need somebody who's attentive, like, and they pay attention. They break it down. And they make sure that you know, like I was here, I was listening. Like I see what you sent me, and like I'm actually responding to it. Stuff like that is very memorable.
Yeah, I didn't think it's. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I was talking about like shows outside of anime. Justina also put me on The Boys. I don't know if y'all watched The Boys.
Yes.
Yeah, when I tell. I'm sorry?
I never watched it, but I heard so much.
You need to watch it. And now there's a spinoff where they go to college, where there's college kids doing crazy stuff.
Like The Boys is so wild that you need somebody to talk about that.
Yes.
That first episode, what just happened? Like how hard, like, and it just gets worse and worse, and you're just like, how are we gonna get? Like, how is this gonna get solved? So things like that is always nice to somebody who already like, yeah, watch it, like get this, like, and like we can talk about it. And like, what you think when you know A-Train went into that girl and killed her? Like, you know. So it's really crazy, and then it's just it goes beyond anime. It goes to careers, getting your LinkedIn set up, getting your Fresh Street connections,
resumes, cover letters.
I got certified to teach because Justina sent me a $30 Groupon thing to take my class, and it helped me get the job because they were like, "Oh, you're certified. Like we want you." That $30 sent me across the ocean to teach for a year. So shout out to Justina.
Yeah. I would just like to touch on, before we go into questions, because if you guys have any questions, don't feel free. You can line up, and then I would like hand one of the mics. But one last thing I would say is just like, the importance I think we really got through is like having, like I needed people to talk about anime with, but then I got a bunch of friends. Yeah. And it's just like y'all said, it transcends anime, but it's just like, it's one, because like there are outlets like, shout out to Black Girls Anime, Eunice, love you. But like then there's like, there's communities and there's discords and there's all these resources for people to reach out to, and I encourage everybody to get involved in them. But like I also feel like there's that extra layer of having like, there's nothing like having a friend that you can be in the car with and listen to anime intros with, or go to the movies and watch the new JJK movie, or just call up on FaceTime. But like what I learned is like, I don't need necessarily that person to live in the same city as me. I just need them to be my friends. Yeah. So I think that's like what I've learned the most from our friendship.
For sure. So now we're gonna open the floor for questions. Anybody got a question?
Yes.
What y'all like most about me?
I can say it on the panel. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I don't have enough time.
I know this might be just random, but it's not really a question, it's just appreciation. Because I walked in here and y'all just talking about friendships and certain things. And
do you wanna?
Y'all.
Here, come up. Because I want to make sure other people can hear you. Yeah, yes, you work the floor. Thank you. I know you will.
This is why we love you. That's why.
Yes.
I can go off the stage.
Oh no, because they won't let more than 3 people. Yeah, so right there.
So first, let me introduce myself. I'm a photographer. The name's Daniel. Blaze Ray. But I actually appreciate what y'all said, because I actually came here randomly, and what y'all said about how friendships is and how y'all met, even through state and through country. I can be a prime example, and I want to just do a little testimony. I met people here in this con that I thought I would never meet. That I thought like, oh, I'm never gonna meet this person. I met famous content creators that was just cool. And I'm just here to just say, like, you be friends with anybody. Everybody here in this whole individual place, just think of like a human being. Like, honestly, like, I was at a point where I'm like, oh, I can't approach this person because they got like 2 million subscribers and stuff, you know, like all that. But in actuality, they're cool people, you know? So it's making the connections count and how you approach it and be yourself.
Heavy on that.
Heavy on that.
Be yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Love
If
that.
you don't be yourself, you're gonna end up you're gonna swallow your own self away. You're gonna really think about, and you're gonna be confused about your own self. So I'm just saying, like, be yourself, and everything else will attract you. That's all.
Thank you. You can hand it back to her. Thank you.
Anybody else has a question? Right here.
Question or testimonial?
Hi, I'm Benta.
Hi, Benta.
The More Nerdy Podcast.
Hi.
So my question is, what was your guys' favorite, like, girls trip, like, in-person event that you did?
I'm gonna just share with you.
I feel like for me, they came to my city. I'm from Baltimore. There was a time they came to Baltimore. They came to Baltimore and we all went out to dinner. We had a big picnic in Federal Hill. And I think one of the pictures.
Yeah, it's on there.
But that was a really big moment because that was like, that extended beyond our group message. Like that was like people from other group messages that were in, who were in the area, because we had a lot of friends in New Jersey, so they all rolled down together and we got to see each other. I think that was really cool. Yeah, that was a pretty long weekend. I think that one might be the most fun.
To me, my favorite is going to Mexico with Justina. Like, we like to travel, and she was just like, hey, Cecilia, I'm gonna go to Mexico on this date. Like, I'll meet you there. And I was like, okay. And we went, and you know, for like meeting somebody, like going across the country to another country and be with them, because you know, for me, I get kind of shy. It's like, okay, I don't know how it's gonna be being with this person for a couple of days, you know, 5 days, you know, somebody I haven't been around with that time, but we just took that leap of faith, and it was an amazing trip, you know, being able to eat food. She even learned Spanish. When we were there, didn't have to worry about anything. Yeah, so that was just pretty fun. And like another one of my favorite, and it's up here, and one of the pictures is my graduation, like post-graduation party. Because my mom, I graduated from Texas A&M Corpus Christi, and so my mom had got a beach house for the family, but because of COVID, everything got canceled, so the beach house was already paid for, and there was nothing we could do about it. So I was like, okay, let me ask some of my Clover friends if they're willing to come, and Ty came down all the way to Texas, hot Texas, and we drove to Corpus Christi, and it was so much fun. Like, they had a blast, and it was just that one over there in the corner, the blue picture, because it was December. So I took them to my university. We looked around, we took pictures, we ate, and it's so nice for having, you know, friends that like, hey, like I'm feeling kind of down. I really want you to come with me, and if they can't, they'll show up. So that's a couple of our favorites.
I think that one was really special because she also knows how much I love Selena. And so, you know, Selena is from Corpus Christi, and she took me to like her monument, and it was so cute. Like, you ate with that.
That little one thing.
For me, I want to say selfishly Chicago, because that's where I met a bunch of them the first time. But truthfully, it was AWA. Oh, there's the picture that y'all was talking about for the picnic. But no, it was AWA, because that was one of my first conventions that I did not have to work, because I do press and I write, I do a podcast and all that stuff on the side. But it was like the first time I got to go to a con and be in Atlanta and be with my girls and just have a really great time. Just got to see them all together. Like, there was that dance party, there was a silent DJ party, there was like a bunch of stuff to do, but it was just walking around the con floor with them and having fun and cosplaying, and it was so much fun. I'm glad that DreamCon I got to expand that because this time I was able to stay with them, and yeah, that's been one of my favorites. Any more questions? If y'all want, actually, if you have a question, just to make it so you don't have to keep walking around, if y'all want to line up.
Can I just read my question real quick?
Sure.
How did you guys deal with distance?
Distance? Okay, so then while other people get lined up, we'll answer that one. So personally, I feel like distance, it's weird. For me, I think I've always just been used to being by myself. Like, I'm used to being a loner. So I think adding people to my daily communication, that's actually what helps with it. Like, talking to each other on FaceTime, checking in with each other regularly. Those are the little things that help me. I don't feel as distanced from the group, even though we like hundreds of miles away from everybody.
And another thing is we share locations. So we know when you're home, we know when you're not. So why are you not home? I told you.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
We communicated a lot, and like she said, like doing the FaceTime calls, regular check-ins, and it really felt like we were like all living in one big house. Like they knew what my walls were like. They knew if I was in the kitchen, if I was in the room. Like we FaceTime so much that we know, like, you know, everything.
I agree. I think like we know our locations, we know our schedules. There's been so many days where I would literally be walking through the door and Justina would be FaceTiming me. I'm like, dang, how did you know I just got home? Like at this point, it's like we feel each other. So
We do share our locations with each other too. We'd be like, why are you here?
Yeah.
And so I think like that's a big part of it, like feeling connected by any means, even if it's not physical. Like we don't have the physical, but we literally have everything else. So I think that's the most important part.
Thank you for your question.
Thank you.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. Hey, my name is Aisha.
Hi,
I
Aisha.
am the shy one, but I know it doesn't come across like that right now. My question is, how do you get out of being the like looker in the Discord versus the like action talker? You know, like
Make sure you got that.
Honestly, it's baby steps. Sometimes maybe it's just like reaching out to somebody that like, maybe it's somebody that you easily connect with, and then that person can help you get out more. Cause like for me, that's my best friend, Christina. Like talking to her more, she's like, you gotta talk more. She'd be like, you are funny. I'm like, I don't be thinking I'm funny. But she's like, no, you're funny. And I just like, cause I used to think for so long I had to shrink myself or be quiet because I didn't have anything interesting to say. But like, I can guarantee you have like very interesting things to say, and people want to hear it. It just has to start with you being willing to like want to put yourself out there. And I know it's scary because my worst fear is sending a text and nobody responding. There is no worse feeling in a group chat when you send something and nobody says anything. But then you also, like, don't get in your head, because I think that was a big thing for me. I was like, they don't hate me, everybody's just busy. So I think that's a really important thing to know. No problem.
And even if you send to Aisha, just be like, y'all see that text I just sent? Spin the block. Yeah, spin the block.
Yeah, spin the block.
Yeah.
Do a wraparound. A wraparound.
Hi, my name's Amber.
Hi, Amber.
My question is, with so many different personalities and so many different women, and like y'all said you've been here for 3 years now.
Yep.
How have y'all handled change? Like personalities changing, just change through growth in general, because I know that's a huge part of friendship.
I think part of it is just talking about it, like being transparent. It's like sometimes you can feel somebody's personality changing and there could be a reason why, like maybe they're dealing with something. So just being transparent about it, like, hey, this is what I'm going through right now. I'm not really feeling my best. Like, I love y'all, I'll check in when I can. Even that goes a long way. It helps you to be a little bit more compassionate. Because, you know, it's easy to take things personally. Like, obviously, like, in this group, somebody's not, like, being themselves right now. Sometimes you'll be like, dang, is it me? Like, are they doing this because of me? Like, are they doing this because they don't like us anymore? Like, it's very easy to, like, slip into that mind state. Sometimes you gotta remember, like, you know, like, it's not about you. And then, like, you know, people are going through things. So even just trying to check in, even if you feel somebody pulling away, not necessarily being pushy, but just being like, hey, you know, like, I've been missing you, I've been thinking about you, like, I hope you're doing good. And then it gives them the space to either talk about what's going on with them or just giving them a check to be like, okay, maybe my vibes are a little bit off, let me jump back in and make sure my girls know I'm good. Just doing things like that.
Yeah, and even like you said, with such a big group, it might be a little overwhelming coming and telling everybody. So you can post, somebody says that, like, hey, I'm kind of going through right now, just let the girls know I'm okay. When I'm ready, I'll come back, and they'll let it know, you know. And we're never gonna be like, I can't believe you tell her that and not tell us, you know. It's never like that, you know. You take your time, talk to whoever you feel more comfortable with, and whenever you're ready, you know, we're always here for you. So that's the one big thing they always establish since the first day.
Yeah, and I would say, I think change is just a part of life. It's gonna happen. Things happen. We've been through births. Shout out to Jess. Yes, baby Lawrence. Like we've been through births, deaths, breakups. Like everybody's been breakdowns. And I think the thing is it's like communication really helps, but then like I think we all understand if somebody's quiet for a while, we respect the quiet, or we respect that somebody's going through something tough or going through a change, and no one is ever holding it against anybody. And I think it's a two-way street. You have to treat ourselves with grace, and then we have to give ourselves the grace back.
Thank you.
No problem. Thank you for your question.
Okay, hi, my name is Hasana. I recently just came down to DreamCon with my group of 20.
20?
Yeah.
Hey!
Ready to so,
Yeah.
you know.
I'm back to class.
Yeah, 10 girls and 10 boys. So it's like, my question is with that is, how do you take getting a group out the group chat? Because for us, I know it took a long while for everybody to be on the same page. Even now that we're at the con, we're still split 10 different ways, 20 different people, and I'm just like, yo, what? So yeah, that's my question. How do you get the group out of the group chat?
So I think having a Justina helps. The mic. You good? No, I think having somebody like Justina helps, because like you know how to organize people and get people together and be like, hey, why? Like it was funny. We had reservations for dinner, and she was like, why are you standing? Go get dressed. Go get stuff like that. Why are you not here? But it's like it's little things like that. But I also think it's just like because a lot of us do like the organization. I think I'm used to being that friend that will take charge, and I don't necessarily have to in this group. So I appreciate y'all for that. But it's like tied with like the Christmas stuff that we do, and Justina with like organizing trips, and like I think it takes like sometimes you just gotta, if there's not a leader in the group, you gotta step up and be a leader and be like, all right, so are y'all for real want to go and we gonna look at these Airbnbs, here are the options, pick one. Like it sucks because I don't like necessarily being in that position to like push people, but I've learned sometimes you just gotta push people because like we gonna get out this group chat.
Yeah, we're not gonna hate you for being pushy.
Right. It's because we want to be like, you want to do that geek retreat cabin? Well, we got to look up cabins and we need to make a decision tomorrow. Like it's stuff that it just takes, like sometimes you got to have a leader to do it, and don't be afraid to be the leader.
Yeah, and also like don't be afraid if first, like let's say your group is 20 and only 10 people responding. Go with that 10. Go with that too. Because once you see that, oh, they actually went, that looked fun, more will join. Eventually it will come. So even if it's just you and another person, it's okay. It will come eventually. You know what I mean? So don't be afraid. Like, hey, who wants to go? And be pushy. Like, you want to go or not? Are you serious or not? You know? Yeah. Because at the end of the day, you don't want to miss out on the experience because the group didn't want to go. You know? So if it's just you and them, less money. If it's a big group, we're all here. You know? So don't be afraid to reach out for a friend and be like, hey, do you really want to go or not? You know? Because that's another thing. I feel like we get caught up on like, oh, nobody's responding. Like, I guess we're not gonna go. Go. Don't miss out on any opportunity. Yeah. Because the group didn't want to go.
Because I've learned for sure, like my other friend groups outside of this one, like I have missed out on things that I wanted to do because I waited for other people. And like going to AWA with just me and my one friend and us meet up with everybody else, I'm like, I could have waited for other people, like my other friends back at home, to respond like, hey, I'm going to Atlanta, do you want to come with me? I honestly don't mind traveling alone now to meet up with them. Like I am fine with that. It's liberating. Go to the movies by yourself. It is liberating. You like you want to try a new restaurant? Go by yourself, because you know what? Then the friends will be ready to come out the group chat and go with you. Like, why didn't you tell us you're going? Because y'all took too long. So like they'll miss out. That FOMO will kick in, and y'all will get out that group chat.
And the thing is, like, your friend don't even have to like anime. Like, for example, right here, my fiance came with his friend, don't even watch anime, but he's here because he's not afraid to be like, hey, bro, we're going here, then I'm going to go support my girl and her friends, and they came. You know what I mean? So it's about that. Even if it's not a friend in the group chat, just call one of your friends, be like, hey, I'm trying to go here, like, you want to come with me? Yeah.
I hope that answered the question.
That was right there.
Right there.
Yeah.
Only Latino.
Hey, that's fine.
Latino here. Any Latinos here? Latinx? Oh yeah, my bad.
We are.
Oh, there you go.
Look, there you go.
Yeah, there you go. Tune in now. Okay.
Like,
thank you so much.
Thank you for your question. I hope that helped.
Hello, my name is Nick.
Hi, Nick.
My question is about boundary setting. Like, has there been any difficulties with like setting boundaries and then moving forward past that?
No problems with boundaries here. We're gonna set a boundary.
Yeah.
But I think it goes back to saying, you know, we've learned to be vulnerable and honest with each other. So anybody who's in the group right now, like, we've had no problem being like, okay, I really didn't like that, like, I don't feel comfortable with this, and like, we're never too like nasty about it, because again, you're not going to carry your friends the same way you carry like random people on the internet.
Yeah.
So just the way we verbalize things, like, we've learned to speak to each other in each other's respective languages. Like, it's like, okay, I know she gets upset if I say this to her in this way. Or I know she does not handle this well. I'm still going to say it, but I'm going to find a way that she best receives it. So it's been a lot of that. So boundaries have not been a problem.
No.
Not at all.
Yeah, and that's one of the, I remember like the first couple weeks, that was one of the things, setting boundaries. Like, just, you know, I remember her saying, like, what are y'all comfortable with? You know, like, let them know, because it's good to let it know early before it's too late, when they start crossing and overstepping. And now they're like, oh, but you always let me step over you. You know what I mean? So set them early, set them straight, and, you know, be vocal about what is your boundaries, what are you comfortable with. That way they also know and know how to approach you and continue on. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yesterday, sometimes I get really moody, and they know that. And my friend, she's not here, she had to leave. She tried to give me a hug yesterday, and I was like, I don't want a hug right now. Can we just shake hands? And she was like, okay. And then she shook hands and left. So they don't really take it personally. Like, if I don't want to talk, they're not going to be like, she's going to talk to me. It's just like, she just wants space. So, like, nobody's internalizing and stuff like that. Like, she didn't say, oh, she didn't want to hug me. She ain't me. She's like,
no.
all right.
No, and I would like touch on that is just like, I think that's a big thing, is because like it's very easy to internalize things and think it's about you and take things personally when people have certain boundaries, but it's really not. It's not you. Because I used to be one of those people like, dang, did I offend them? Oh, I hope I didn't like overstep. And like sometimes it's also just like some people are just quiet. Like I'm a quiet person. Sometimes I can be quiet, or like I just feel like I have my moments where I just want quiet, so I'll go away for a little bit. But then like people were like, "Are you mad? Are you upset?" I'm like, "No, this is just my face. Like I'm cool. I'm good." So I think it's just like, yeah, knowing not to internalize it if somebody's asking for space or when they set a specific boundary is a huge thing, because I think it's very easy for people to take it personally. But I think we've all kind of just done a really good job of setting that standard that we shouldn't take things personally if somebody is feeling a way about something.
Thank you so much for your question.
Okay, go for it. We got time.
Yeah, so my next question is just like about like being in different stages in your lives. Like, how do you guys balance that? Because like sometimes I notice that in my friendships, like people like will surpass me, or like I grow past somebody, but like there's still somebody that I want to keep in my life. Like they're not someone I want to keep to the wayside, but I don't know how to be there for them in that same way anymore because I'm not that same person.
Yeah.
So like, how do you guys deal with that and stuff like that?
Can I say something? I think the best way to deal with that, even if you feel like you guys are in different spaces in your life, asking them how you can show up for them is so important, because like you said, sometimes we don't have all the answers. Like, I don't understand what you're dealing with. But if you ask them, like, what do they need? Sometimes it can be within your scope. Like, it can be something you do. Like, they'll be like, hey, I just need somebody to listen. I don't even need you to give me advice right now. I just need you to listen. I can do that. I got ears. Oh God, I can help you. Like, it doesn't have to be something like big. Like, you can't, it doesn't have to be about money or like showing up physically. Asking somebody what they need can take you so far.
Yeah, I agree. And I think a big thing of that is just like me and my friends, like other friends, are like, hey, do you have the space to hear this right now? I think that goes a long way. Like, I like to know how can I be there for people, like going off of what Ty says, because it's hard to know how your friends need you when like they're going through different things, because I grieve differently or I celebrate differently. So knowing like when I've known somebody who's gone through a recent death or losing their job, I'm like, what do you need? Do you want to just like watch anime tonight? You want to watch, I will send you some chicken wings and we will just get on FaceTime and we will have a good time and we will laugh. We will watch Insecure from the beginning. Like, just finding out what that person needs and how they want to process what they're going through. And then again, I'm big on grace. I'm big on like giving people grace when they are going through whatever they're going through, because it's hard to give people grace, because like I think we're all very, what is it, like treat others how you want to be treated. That's true to a certain degree, but you can't treat everybody how you want to be treated, because how would they know how you want to be treated?
Exactly.
Do you have anything?
Thank you, Nick.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, come on up. Anybody else have questions? Please don't be shy.
I just wanted to ask if you guys were going to karaoke or a Selena song, what time? So I can make sure I'm in. Do you have anything on the books tonight? I mean,
we actually karaoke last night. Sorry.
But we'll let you know. Come on the floor, you know?
Yeah.
Come on.
sure.
Yeah.
Thank you. Oh, that's adorable.
No, it's a fairy.
It's Jorgen Von Strangle.
Oh!
Also, wherever Nick went, I loved your cosplay. It's very cute.
Hi, my name is Jonelle and Wanda.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. I saw the tank. I thought of like the tank top. I didn't think about the pink hair. I am so bad. Y'all don't take my nerd card away. Please go ahead, Wanda.
Okay, so my question is like, how do you know when it's time to like move on? When it's in a friend group or like from one person from the group?
I was about to say for you.
I mean, no lie, Justina was originally on the panel, but we thought she was gonna leave earlier.
Yeah.
So she is panelist adjacent today.
Yeah.
Y'all have to like let go.
Yeah, we can all answer that.
When stuff just can't be solved, like we have grievances that just like can't. Like we said, we're big about boundaries. If I have a problem with you, Ty will tell me I didn't like that and it hurt my feelings. I apologize and I don't do it again. Now, if I tell you something like that and you go back and forth with me, and then if it's disrespect, like no, we're not willing. We don't take that from each other. We don't give that to each other. Like, if you disrespect me, I'm disrespecting back.
Right.
And then you kind of gotta go though. Like we don't. There has been a lot of us, and the group has like thinned from like 20 to I don't know.
I think we're 13 now. Yeah. And I would say, I'm sorry, were you done? Oh, I would say a big thing is like, if it gets to a point where the friendship has become toxic, where it's really like, have you tried to truly resolve things? Have you tried to work things out? Is the behavior changing and this goes for both people. Like if it's one-sided, like is that person making moves to change? Then like, I think it's worth saving. But like, I've had to have friendships where like, I've had to do that too, where it's just like, look, this is not conducive to our relationship. And like, sometimes I think if they're your friend and they understand, like it's okay to say, like, I think we need to figure out who we are outside of our friendship and take some time away from being friends. It sounds like a breakup, but yeah, it is. Yeah. And then like, if you realize like maybe 6 months, a year later that you do miss that person, you want to make it work as a friend within your friendship, then if they're truly your friend, they will be willing to put in that work too. Because I think I did that with one of my friends, not in this group, but I've had to do that before, and we're better for it because we needed to figure out how can we be friends and not have this toxicity. Like, because it was like getting to the point where like it's underlining and like she took something I said as offensive and I took something she said as offensive when really neither of us was being offensive. So it's just like sometimes you have to recognize if that's a pattern, you either need to work it out or you have to let it go.
Yeah, and also there's been times where like somebody's like, you know, I just don't feel like the space is still the same for me, you know? And we're like, oh, okay, it's okay. And then if we still see them on the timeline, we still talk, you know? So it's just about that, like being respectful and, you know, being true to yourself. If you feel like the space is you no longer kind of value it and it's like you want to leave, it's okay. You know, so I'm like, oh no, we in for life. Like you can't leave.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, we can still, yeah, you can't, no, it's not like that. So if you feel like you outgrown the space, you know, or you become a little unfamiliar with the space, it's okay to be like, okay, you know, I think I want to take some time and leave, you know. And there's times where we took some time off to like, I just want to leave for a little bit and I'll come back later. And it's completely up to you, you know. If you feel like it's time to go, it's time to go. We'll see you when we see you, you know. And it's always like that.
It's not a cult. Like friendships that hard.
Yeah, we don't have to be full lifers, you know. Hey, we could be for
we could be for monthers.
Yeah, it's okay, it's cool.
We had that moment,
and you don't take it to heart. Like if you feel like you don't want it, it's okay, you know.
Yeah. One more question? Yeah, I think we have time.
No, it's
Because Because that's Justina. That's our Justina.
No, I'm about to say that was the very question that was the very answer to my question. I wanted to say so deeply, but you actually answered it.
Thank you.
Hey, don't take it personal.
No. But no, if there's no more questions, I have a favor to ask the audience. Our photographer is back there, so I would love it if y'all could come around the stage and we could get a big picture of everybody who attended.